Goobers, hello Voiden. Apologies for messing up on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, I forgot to change. I forgot to change the date where the post of me streaming was supposed to come out, because originally I was doing the stream yesterday, but Stranger Things came out, and trust me, even though technically I was available at the hour, my brain only managed to like process Stranger Things season 5, and it's still kind of processing it. So if I'm out of it today, it's because of that. Not to mention, I also watched Zootopia 2, so I have like 2 things to process, and maybe possibly I'll make video on it. One thing I also wanted to say is that I know there has been a lack of... Oh wait, maybe I should go to at least the full scene, you know, other than starting soon. One thing I want to explain is also the lack of shorts. Unfortunately, the shorts from Tiny Bunny, I don't know, maybe it's because, like, you know, this game is pretty drastic. They are blocking the shorts to be made, and then from my drawing streams I apparently cannot make shorts as well. So I don't know, either YouTube hates me now, or maybe it's because of like the classical music in the background. So we'll try Lo-fi next time to see if that's the issue, or it's like YouTube's issue once again. I don't know, but well, we have what we have. Fortunately enough, yeah, fortunately enough, I gave you a 30-minute long video, so I guess that's like enough of a, let's call it, yeah. The tweet got me yesterday. Yeah, that was a mistake on my side, okay? I was just like, my brain was only thinking of Stranger Things, and I forgot to even check. So yeah, I'm sorry, I had to respond to my sister, because right now I'm using her account to buy books, and she was like, hey, I think it's your package. I'm like, yeah, but I have it in the app, so you don't have to send the QR codes to me. Anyways, yeah, so my brain is a little bit mushy still. Like, literally, I had to tell my brain that, hey, yesterday and today is kind of like, I don't know, my days off or something, you know, like some like winter vacation. I gave myself winter vacation, because honestly I wasn't able to do anything, because like this is how much how many brain worms I have when I watch fiction that I actually enjoy. So yeah, was the show good? I loved it. Well, it's only first 4 episodes because it's volume 1 of the final season, but I enjoyed it. I woke up at 6 AM and I started watching it, and it was such a vibe. I don't know, man. I was thinking about rewatching it, but then I slapped myself like, don't be stupid! You will kind of rewatch it when you will make a video on it. But I think the first video that I would make would be for Zootopia, because first of all, it will be much faster to do, and second of all, it's just like, I think it's more chill. And in Stranger Things, I have so many thoughts that I don't know if I can collect them that quickly. But okay, today we're here for Tiny Bunny, right? Chapter 3, right? So on Monday we can play chapter 4, and then I don't know what we're going to play on Thursday, but I'll come up with something. Just you wait. Fuck, I have to come up. Fuck, I have to come up with something. Shit. Maybe I'll just play something more chill, so I won't have to do much. I don't know, we'll see. I told you I'm a mess, but yeah, we're continuing with, so my brain can somehow, I don't know, adjust. Let's maybe start with the game, okay guys? I know, I really hope that you enjoy this gameplay. I think you do. I think I'm getting a little bit more viewers than usually. I'm also glad that my material has got like over 600 views, because honestly, at first I was like, oh my goodness, I wasted so much time, but then the views kind of grew. I was like, oh god, maybe I didn't waste as much time as I expected. I still hope it will go more viral. Maybe it won't, I don't know that, but you know, I'm on the drive of making more videos, so this is my focus now. Okay, continuing. If you do not remember what happened last time, we actually beat up one of the delinquents, and we became a delinquent ourselves, And the guy we beat up disappeared, but before he disappeared, we found ourselves the glasses that he stole from us, so that's quite concerning. Apparently the owl gave it to us. We played around with Alisa a little bit, our foxy girl, and we stood up Polina, so that's fun. Other than that, yeah, more or less that's what happened last time. Let's continue on to the episode 3. On end, the wolf's grey fur will stand. Quite mysterious, ooh. As I said, Semyon is now missing. He's the one who hated Baburin. Oh wait, I feel like my audio is a little bit too quiet. They're whispering. Okay. The warm farewells Romka and Biasia shouted at the back of fleeing Semyon echoed inside my head. Now it's good, okay. Okay. Was Romka serious about his threats? Would he chase his former friend deep into the forest and then what? Kill him? Just like that? No, that can't be right. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. This game is good for connecting PC to TV monitor and just lying on the couch while... Damn! That's such a mood though! I appreciate it. I'm glad that it is. I mean, yeah, it's like... I feel like this gameplay is more like you listening to me, like kind of reading an audiobook of some sort, which is a type of content that I was thinking about making, just reading some stuff, like as videos though. You know, you need to make sure that you can read specific things. So I was thinking about creepy stories actually, so if you would be interested in that, I think that that's something that I would love to do. The glasses. Semyon was clutching them in his fist while trying to escape the barrage of kicks and slaps from his friends. Former friends by now. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Sioma suddenly got guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. I was shocked but kept walking toward the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. The photo still stood before my eyes. Semyon has gone missing. Semyon is gone. His fat fingers will never get to my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Semyon to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son, or a grandson, and he went through all the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? This is intriguing, right? It's like, he starts to wonder if that was his fault, because on one hand, like, first of all, he wished that. So I feel like sometimes, even though it's like beyond us to do something, I feel like because of the like coincidence, we start guilting ourselves. Maybe it is our fault. Maybe we kind of, we kind of wished that and the wish came true. But on the other hand, it's like he's also connected to the supernatural things happening, which at this point, I don't think he still like embraces the fact that it is kind of supernatural. Like, you know, Alisa is not acting like your usual girl and like weird things are happening all over. It's intriguing, for sure. This is very much intriguing. I didn't know the answer, or I was just scared of it. Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Oh my god. Anton, you're such a simp. Like, the girl walks in. Oh, never mind. You know what? The school still is kind of nice. Polina, the girl with a violin, was like a mountain spring. Like well water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the thin outer ring of a bucket. And can't even get enough. Quick reminder, the guy stood her up the day before. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I will draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, milking like the xenomorphs from the Alien, a goated movie. I immediately felt larvae of fear writhed in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Ronka and Biasha after what happened yesterday, especially since Semyon suddenly went missing. I entered the classroom and went toward the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down, so I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top, my fists clenched. It felt like I was the one who disappeared in that snowy forest and my desk was finally used for something worthwhile. Semyon's empty chair stood in front of me. The chair that once belonged to Vova gathered dust somewhere in another classroom. Okay, let's check out what we have here. Shall we? Exploration time. Let's go, guys. Okay. That is the beach sitting down. Okay, so I kind of feel 3 things. Okay. Oh, I think it's for this guy. Okay. What is this? An old cheap slide projector. I called this model a tank because it looked like one. There was a time when I had a lot of cool fairy tales that we used to watch with Dad in complete darkness. I remember Little Raccoon and One Who Sits in the Pond, Kipling's Mowgli and many others. I was immediately swept away by the memory of the projector's hum, of its hot casing, of its bright rays hitting the wall turning into a screen. It's a pity that the school's slides were mostly about minerals and PSAs. Well, it is what it is, Anton. What about this dude in here? Did you also have the class when they were like popular figures of like literature or history? I think every school has that, at least one classroom that is like that. Don't they? I feel like that's the thing. That's a thing at schools. I look at the portraits of classical writers. My eyes stopped on Esenin's photo. Last year I was tasked with learning any poem, and that suggested I learn one about the dog Jim, written by Esenin. I don't know Esenin. I barely know any Russian writers. I know Dostoevsky and Pushkin. Who else was there? Tolstoy. And that's about it, I think. That's my thing. Nowadays it's trend that people manifesting things so they could easily feel guilty for it. Oh, that's true. I didn't think about it. Like, you know, like manifesting and like, oh yeah, I manifested it. Like, it's bullshit, but of course people believe that, right? History class had portraits of kings and princes. I think the only class, ironically enough, in middle school, from what I remember, because I don't remember in high school having such a class, but in middle school I remember clearly that we had like math class with, you know, Thales, Pythagoras, and all of those guys. And obviously they were drawn because we don't really know how they looked either. Like, yeah, it's been ages ago, so imagine there weren't like, you know, paintings or photographs back then. You know what I mean. Although maybe in primary school I had the class with literature figures as well. Not sure though. Hello, Mr. Generalny. Even in math, yeah, insane, I know, insane. Like, I don't think it's quite a thing. But it was like, I think it was done by like pretty recently, so it wasn't a thing beforehand, but they like kind of upgraded the classroom. Because I think it was like maths classroom, so they did something like that. Like because like, for example, what we had in our class, which I was like in linguistic class, technically, we had to like have a kind of, we changed, every month we changed a poster and it was about different kind of like celebration or something. So that was a thing that we had to take care of our classrooms. I don't know if that's something you also had done, but that was a thing that we did for sure. So yeah, I don't remember all the stanzas by now, but the last one was somehow deeply ingrained in my memory. I'm sure she'll come here In my absence, please catch her eye. Go kiss her hand for me. For all my real or fancied errors, asking forgiveness of her in humility. That's a nice one. Every boy my age knew had something like this in his arsenal. Powder firecrackers that blow up with a very loud sound. Oh, it's the ones that you throw on the ground, right? I always hated them. I always hated them because, like, they jump scared me. I was a pussy, okay? I gotta admit, I was a pussy. I never had ones, but yeah, my cousin, male cousin, always had those on him. Every time there was like some kind of stance, he got those from his parents. I never got those, but I did shoot some because like he got them. So we just decorate class for events, Christmas, etc. Oh, okay. I understand. Hi, TD. What shop? We're not shopping today. Today we're playing a game, my dude. Today we are playing the game. Okay. Especially inside an archway. It is said that they're produced in China and that a single one of them can blow your fingers off if you light it up and clutch it in your hand. Oh, never mind. Those are for lighting up. So, okay. So I never had the ones that were to be lit up or something, so. As some kind of fancy kind, I guess. Especially the black courser type. They won't be enough to blow up plastic soldiers, but when it comes to stuff made of plaster, they should work. I wonder if it's some kind of foreshadowing. Huh. Okay, I guess that's it. We cannot click on anything else. Okay, let's sit down. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Babudin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed as if someone just unpaused a movie. Okay, Katya, know it all. I hate her, da-da-da. I wonder if it's like something that Russians do. Like, you know, kind of like a break between saying something. You say like da-da-da and then you continue. Or if it's just her thing. Katya snuck a cunning glance at me, then leaned in to her neighbor and whispered something. God damn it, Katya, you're such a bitch. Girls from the second row also leaned in. She shared something with them too. Whispers, nods. I don't remember these illustrations as well. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy or they added something. I kept catching her stare on myself. Her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt the need to watch me because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. Okay, don't be over dramatic, Anton. It's not that bad yet. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent!" Romka gave me a heavy-worded look. He was probably as stunned by Semyon's disappearance as everybody else. But then he directed his stare straight at my face. It felt like he was about to point his fingers at me and shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone look! Babudin snatched his glasses yesterday and now he has them back. Murderer! I don't think Romka is smart enough to think of that. I'm pretty sure what he probably I imagine him thinking, oh, he had another pair of glasses, good for him. Or something like that, you know? I don't think he's like that. I think he's too dumb to be like that. But he remained silent, as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Romka knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me what. But it was also possible he didn't care at all, just like everyone else. Then Romka shifted his eyebrows in suspicion and stared at Katya, as if informing her that he didn't believe a word she said. I wanted to believe that Romka would take my side. Hell yeah, we're bros now! Bros before hoes! And Biasha, who sat sprawled in his chair with his chin pressed against the table too. But they were silent. A terrifying thought flashed my mind. Those two could easily betray me, push me off the cliff. Just like they did with Semyon. As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt. Okay, Colombo, I assume, is some kind of like detective from a TV show? An American crime drama television series starring Peter Falk as Colombo, A homicide detective with the Los Angeles Police Department. Well, it's not Russian, but American, but yeah, just as I guessed. I don't know anything about Colombo. I don't know, maybe you? Oh yeah, okay, now well, technically yes, we bullied him, but she didn't see the part where I actually bullied him. The metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle, and that made the other kids shudder. Imagine having a metal ruler. I actually had one, but much later on. But you know, like through the entire school life, I had like plastic one. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to exit, toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch wind of that change. Romka and Biasha looked around and winced in contempt. It's good that they were clearly on my side. Biasha is the real one. Jesus, Katya! Why is he wishing him such a fate? That's messed up. I gulped. I imagined Syoma on a snowy blanket, his face white like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See, I could almost hear his condescending tone. It's all your fault. I like how it was like pig scratched over there. I didn't see it before. Like when it was like scratchy animation, there was like a pig written in there. Of course, Semyon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Polina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Polina found me with her eyes, gave me a short nod and went to her seat. God damn it. Katya is like, oh, a girl looked at him for a second. Well, it's time for gossip! Katya rushed to her neighbors again like a lab rat that saw a treat and started whispering, switching her gaze between me and Polina. Messages on pieces of paper started jumping around the classroom. The ringer's trill announced the start of the class.
Так, заканчиваем бардак. Дети, встаньте. Петров, тебя это тоже касается.
Okay, we're standing up, chill. Lila Pavlovna went to her desk, followed by a policeman in a uniform. It was the same man... Oh, sorry. It was the man that visited us just recently. Tall, and he stared so sharp you could get cut on it.
Здрасте.
Здравствуйте! Садитесь. Познакомьтесь. Это старший лейтенант Константин Владимирович Тихонов. Он задаст вам несколько вопросов и проведет небольшую лекцию по безопасности.
The class livened up. Talking to policemen was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. His brown eyes felt around the classroom, looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck and an icicle had lodged in my gut. Jesus, Katya! Holy shit! Stop it!
Катерина, ну-ка цыц. Вопросы здесь взрослые задают.
Просто нам всем страшно.
Ekaterina is a nice name though, I gotta say.
Может, убийца бродит
But she's a bitch.
Или сидит у нас за спиной.
Glass, did you had girls gangs for 3 years? I had 2 girls group. The leaders hated one another. I had girls gangs. I could say I was the leader of one of the groups. I didn't form it though, okay? It formed around me during middle school, and did I talk about it? I slightly mentioned it in my last video when I was like doodling around like that with the doodles. But yeah, there was in primary school there was like I wouldn't say I had like girl gang in like primary school because it was like 3 to 4 people around me, but in middle school it was like around 7 girls or even 8 around me, so I would say it was a gang. Previously there was like a set of 4 girls that I thought in my eyes they were like popular girls because first of all they were studying well, They were always like smiling and nice. They always like, you know, dressed pretty and all of that bullshit. And yeah, I thought of them as a gang, you know, pretty girls gang, like popular girls gang. But yeah, but it's not like they were. I don't think we've ever had arguments between the groups of girls. To be fair, like usually there was like one girl in class that no one really liked. But that was about it. Only in high school there were like two girls who that was an irony. They sat together, right? But at least one of them was gone. They talked shit about each other. And they knew that. They just knew that. They were like two bitches, like just bitching about each other, which was funny every single time. Because like one was gone, the other one was going off about the other one. It was a funny thing. But there was like only 11 girls, so in my high school class, so we were kind of like not very split up. I had two stupid ones and 4 people neutral girls group that I hanged with. Oh, nice. Two stupid. Yeah, I don't think like I've ever had. Usually I got along with most of my class. That's the thing. I think I was in such a neutral ground that it wasn't that bad. Sure, there were sometimes some arguments, but I don't think there were between the girls. I remember once all the girls were very pissed off at like this one guy because he threw rocks at a cat or something. And yeah, we were pissed off at the guy. So that was it. I think there were groups who just hang out like together and only spoke occasionally. That was like the difference. But we never like fought against each other or anything like that. Back to the game. But yeah, that was a nice question. Her slice stare was directed at me. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of desks and started walking at the excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down, breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a stern voice.
Petrov Anton?
Да. Встань, Петров.
My muscles turned to stone. I got up, unglued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all my joints creak in the process. I only wish that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a boulder. Anton, I don't know if you remember, but last time we were in the forest, there was like a huge ass goat who started throwing toys and candies at us. I don't know if you want to go back to the forest, boy. I don't think it's a good idea. The officer stared at me as if he was about to lock a pair of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold these bracelets are to the touch. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center where tens of Semyons would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не знаю. Я тут ни при чем.
Very smooth, Anton.
А тебя никто и не обвиняет.
Very smooth.
Пока что.
Only then I noticed a file that said case NO 131 in his hand. It had a grey cover made from rough carton. It flopped onto the desk like a guillotine blade that slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tikhonov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints of the snow. They looked like animal prints.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Я знал его всего один день.
Все знают, Петров его ненавидит.
Shut up, Katya! He's not asking you, is he now? I turned red. You ugly bitch! You ugly bitch! I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheeks. Yes, okay, that's very furry of Anton, okay? He's turning into a furry. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster.
Мы повздорили вчера. Но он первый начал. Я его ударил.
Сильно?
Да нет, так.
I waved my hand indecisively. Tikhonov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lila Pavlovna came to my rescue.
Бабурин проблемный подросток. С шилом кое-где.
Oh my god, the teacher actually stepped up.
Сам ко всем лез.
It's interesting he had my file! Pietro Fanton! I didn't notice that before, but he... Okay. Okay? The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out of the file. Oh, it is our notebook! Fuck!
Это твое?
Fuck! I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. It felt like even the writers on the portrait squinted at me in suspicion.
Моё.
В лесу нашли. Там же тракторист, что снег убирал в последний раз, видел Бабурина.
I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka ransacked my school bag. The notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnesses that could testify to Semyon and I walking in different directions after that. I looked toward the boys, hopeful. Romka, who sat behind Tikhonov, put a finger to his lips. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick on his nose. Very smooth, Romka, very smooth. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, snitches get stitches in situations like this. I frantically fixed my glasses. Oh my god, about stitches. Sorry, a little break from the game, but my dad told me a story. When he was like, I think he was still like a practicing student as a doctor. And once he had like a practice and like they had a patient. Obviously it was some, like, you know, there was some thug, some delinquent who just came from like gang war or whatever, you know how it is sometimes, you know. And it's like, I think he had a tattoo where he got stabbed, and my dad was in like his job was to sew it right up, you know. So he took the advantage of the guy having tattoos, so he sewed it like so carefully, so it was barely visible thanks to the tattoo. And when he was finished, the guy who got stabbed looked at it and I was like, it's not even visible! What's the point? Like, I would have a cool ass scar! And my dad was like, what the fuck? Like, he tried so hard to make the best stitches ever, and the guy was pissed off because, like, his friends won't believe him that he was in a, like, knife fight. Absolute banger of a story. You know? I just can't imagine my dad be like, are you for real, bro? With hands trembling, I tried my best to do the job so it's barely visible, and this is how you're thanking me. Like, I don't even have a sign of the fight. Oh man, he brought brass new design. Yeah, exactly. I was like, God damn it, where is my stab wound? My war wound. Where is it? Well, it was gone. My dad made his job too well, you know. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Semyon took them away yesterday, but now they're...
Так что ты делал вчера в лесу, Антон?
Я в школу через лес хожу. Могла выпасть легко.
Easily, just like me producing this half-truth.
Будь осторожнее.
Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher said.
Класс. А сейчас лейтенант расскажет о правилах, которые вам необходимо соблюдать.
Так маньяк?
Jesus, Katya.
Пока мы ничего вам сказать не можем.
Romka swayed in his chair and gave me a thumbs up. Attaboy, good job keeping your trap shut. Thanks, Romka. You're a real one. I nodded even though I didn't feel a shred of pride from his praise. After all, he was the one who threw my notebooks and textbooks into the snow. He was the one ordering Semyon despite changing his allegiance later. Shit.
Но есть преступник или нет, вы должны четко помнить о собственной безопасности. Вас бережет милиция. Вас опекают родители и учителя. Но в первую... Итак,
Oh
кто
shit.
там что хотел узнать?
I'm sorry, I didn't want to break his text. A stockade of arms rose from the desks. The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policeman with questions. In an attempt to calm down that chorus, he moved toward the blackboard. The grey file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it, my breathing so ragged that it might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beds of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were watching officers' every word. Only Romka was saying something to Biasha. Lilia Pavlovna was staring into the window, fighting back yawns. Okay, so you see, the thing we have to do, we need to be smooth. Okay, so he's walking around. This is something that I learned, I admit, I learned through the comments of the game. He needs to walk around like that. Okay. And now! Nobody paid me any mind, so I slowly opened the file. My fingers started sifting through the documents. Ksenia Talaleva, 6 years old, left her home sometime in December. Identifying features okay. Maybe that's our Alisa. She looks too young, but it's been a while, right? Oh no, she's 6 in December. I don't know what time it is. Okay, no, she would be too young, never mind. My heart almost jumped out of the ribcage. A round-faced girl, no older than Olia, smiled at me from the photo. Maybe that's an owl, actually. The first victim of a serial killer? The first child to disappear in the forest without a trace? I turned another page. Vladimir Matyukin, 10 years old. Vova was the second. His mittens hanging from the branch. His name, called out by desperate adults and repeated by the sneering echo. Lilia Pavlovna coughed, trying to calm down the rowdy students. I yanked my hand away, and the file closed. Okay, one more time, guys. One more time. Okay, now, the officer turned his back to the class and started writing on the blackboard with a piece of chalk, producing nasty screeching sounds.
В деревне почти все друг друга знают в лицо, так что чужаков обычно сразу замечают. Увидев незнакомца...
The officer started squeaking with a piece of chalk again, and I, after making sure nobody was watching me, opened the file and took out the photos that were hidden at the bottom. They reminded me of snapshots from that strange TV report, only instead of crossed on the white background there were crooked rowan trees. The artery-like roots, stumps and charred pines cut down by lightning. And snow, lots of snow. Then a black building that immediately gave me the chills, yet it wasn't a crypt. It was a garage. I love the black garage. I love it. It's like such an 80s vibe of, you know, like It vibe or whatever Stranger Things is going for. It's just like this building of mystery, the dread. The garage itself, it's a small thing, but I don't know, it feels scary, right? If you grew up in Slavic countries when, like, I feel like garages, especially metal ones, they have some sort of intimidating vibe around them. I don't even know how to explain it, but like 80s in like, you know, Slavic countries, I feel like 80s are such a dark ages aesthetically, and it has the same vibe. A box made from steel, standing amidst the thicket, judging by the trees all around it. Those black gates were almost sucking me in. I've already encountered this metal container that travels around the local area. Just yesterday, in fact. First, Romka told me about it. He said that the black garage was the culprit behind children going missing, as if it was a living being. And then I met with this abyss-colored building face to face in the middle of the thick forest. And the fox girl told me that Vova was hiding there. My fingers trembled as the photo glided through the air back into the file. Thank God it landed upside down. That steel box was just too unsettling to look at. There was also a plastic bag at the bottom of the file, the type used to store evidence. I opened it. God damn it, Anton. And inside it was a severed finger. I blinked and the mirrors dissolved. I couldn't see a cut of body part. It's interesting because it happens the second time, right? The first time it was like the bloodied mitten, and now it's like severed finger, while it's only a ring. It's as if Anton can see more, or rather can see what happened through the items. And it's a cool concept. Even though it's like, I don't think it's some sort of superpower, it's more of like symbolic thing to do. I think it works pretty well for build up of the horror. I couldn't see a cut of body part, there was only a signet ring inside. Stunned by the fleeting hallucination, I almost felt like I was transported back to the forest and heard Semyon's words.
Ща, парашник, я тебе этой печаткой так заряжу.
The ring was giving off a faint glow on top of my palm. I panicked and squeezed the evidence in my fist as if trying to assure myself it was real. I clanked my teeth from surprise, pushed myself into the back of my chair, blinking in bewilderment. The officer silently gathered the documents and gave me a stern look.
Больно ты любопытный, Петров.
Well, yeah, kind of. I tried my best to squeeze out an apology and return the ring, but I only managed to hold out a clenched fist with the ring inside and started rumbling like that car engine when it was started cold.
Как говорится, меньше знаешь, крепче спишь.
Вот.
He went toward the blackboard without looking back while I was still clenching this stolen piece of evidence, thinking about Semyon. A boy that was already most likely dead.
И еще раз.
And then we got a ring now.
Если вы заметите в поселке кого-то подозрительного, неважно, телефон-то знаете?
Shit.
Спасибо, ребята. Спасибо, Лилия Павловна. И это... Одноклассника вашего мы найдем.
Yeah, right, a thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe you'll be able to piece him together. Like Legos. Jesus. That was ruthless, Anton! My thoughts turned evil for some reason and I couldn't control them. I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people, huh? How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? Pretty suspicious. A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the hulking Semyon? Should I tell the officer about her? What if lives of other kids depend on this? Of the cute Ksenia and Vova too? Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they will start whispering behind my back, or what's even worse, think that I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I doubt someone like him would approve of cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquent sitting in front of me. My hand was glued to the
До
desk.
свидания, лейтенант.
Tikhonov was saying goodbye to Lydia Pavlovna. He was about to leave. It will be too late soon. We will tell him, because that's why I redone the second chapter. I unglued my palm from the tabletop. I need to warn him, at very least for Olya's sake, to assure her safety in the house near the squeaky pines. I raised my hand heavy as a dumbbell.
Простите.
Wow, everyone turned around, that's awkward! Almost 2 dozen heads turned my way. My teacher, the officer, Polina. Katya shoved an elbow into her friend's side. Sleepy Biasha stretched out his neck. Romka frowned inquiringly. Don't worry, guys, I'm not going to say anything about you.
Я слушаю.
It felt like I was being studied under a microscope.
Вчера утром по дороге в школу я видел незнакомого человека.
My classmates started whispering. Tikhonov frowned, a deep wrinkle adorning the space between his eyebrows.
Да откуда ему знать, чужак это или кто-то из местных?
That's pretty valid, like we just moved in.
Он же в поселке без году неделя.
The other kid smirked. Katya flashed an evil smile.
Спокойствие. Антон, а сможешь детальнее описать?
Then it dawned on me. I can do more than describe them. What I can't do.
Я нарисовать могу. Я рисую немного.
After spitting out this confession, I expected everybody to laugh, but that didn't happen. Even Katya stayed silent. Polina tilted her head and studied me with an intrigued look on her face. I was pleased by this wave of attention. It made me feel bolder, so I asked.
Нарисовать?
Tikhonov slowly nodded.
Лиль Павловна, мы тут проведем следственный эксперимент. А?
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста.
I took out a pen, flattened out a sheet of paper. My classmates stared at me in anticipation. Polina smiled, and it was the best reward I could get for my boldness. My god, he's such a sim.
Ну что, Ван Гог, рисуй.
Yeah, I'm drawing. Chill. Okay, so I think... no. Yeah, I think this one would be fine. Drawing skills good in Russia, they can't say shit. Exactly. Oh, yeah. He had like plaster on his face. And then he had like, how do they call it? Like, not this one. Oh yeah, this thing, this scar on his mouth, yeah. And then the hair, he was kind of like buzz cut, sorta. Yeah, I think that's about it. He looked like this. There you go. And I know that for a fact, for chapter 3 it's unnecessary, for chapter 4 it's unnecessary, but I sure hope that it will help in chapter 5, in the final chapter. That's why I wanted to do that. Big, yeah! Prominent! McDonald's arch. You see that beautiful shape? Perfect. There it is. This massive cold chiseled face. Squint in his eyes, sharp like a blade. I hesitated before handing my drawing to the officer.
Вот, примерно так.
Примерно? Да ведь он один в один тот тип.
Damn!
Так вы его тоже видели?
Заячью губу. Видел недавно возле поселка. Думал, он проездом. Давно подался дальше гастролировать.
He's so happy! Hell yeah!
А он, выходит, здесь отирается.
А еще он рядом со школой стоял и в лесу вечером.
That's true. Like, okay, standing in front of a school, suspicious. Standing behind a school, extremely suspicious. Standing somewhere in the forest, just like that? Nah, fam. It's too suspicious. I wonder if it's like a guy who's trying, because remember that in the plotline something happened with Anton's dad's job. So my thoughts were that maybe he's connected to that plotline actually, and he's not, you know, because like they had to move out. So maybe that's the guy. I don't know exactly what happened at his dad's work exactly, but there is a chance that something happened and it's connected to that, this character specifically. But we'll see. Tikhonov looked at me as if he saw me for the first time.
Ну, пацан. Ну, молодец.
Ah, he's so happy! He slapped my shoulder and went toward the door. Then he stopped and called out to me.
Талантливый ты парень. Тебя в Академию художеств с руками оторвут.
Yeah, but he will have no job after that. He left. The bell rang. Lilia Pavlovna marched past, giving me a curious look. My classmates went silent as if somebody lowered their volume using a remote. Finally! We gained aura points, guys! We're building up some kind of like popularity in this school finally. They followed me with their eyes the whole time I was passing between the rows, but something had changed about their gazes. Even Katya was different now. Katya is like, oh my god, he's actually kinda cool. I remembered vividly how my dad once stood up for a war vet during a bus ride, subduing a bunch of drunkards. The other passengers back then had the same looks. The looks of respect. After going to the restroom and washing my face in ice-cold water, I returned to the classroom. But as soon as I stepped through the doorway, somebody called my name in a cheerful voice. It was a girl sitting next to Katya. She smiled and offered me a Skittles candy. Damn! Skittles! Shit!
Спасибо.
I mumbled words of gratitude in reply and accidentally swallowed the small candy as if it was one of Mom's pills. A happy shout came from the side. My god, how long has he been taking these pills to have this kind of like automatic reaction? That's sad, actually. A happy shout came from the side.
Антон, а меня нарисуешь?
Oh my, this is the worst. This is the worst. I'm like, can you draw me actually? No! Pay for the commission, bitch!
Антон, и меня! Можно я?
The shouts were coming from all directions now, so I pushed my back to the atlas hanging on the wall, embarrassed.
А ты сам научился?
Можешь Ван Дамма нарисовать? Я дома как плакат повешу.
Those cheeky kids!
Эй, я вообще-то первая спросила.
Damn, Katya. Yeah, okay. Katya slithered up to me like a venomous snake, inserting herself between me and my classmates.
Антон меня уже обещал нарисовать. Подумай.
She's full of shit!
Да-да-да. Правда же, Антон?
Yeah, right. A thought flashed through my mind. As soon as I showed some promise, Katya immediately decided to befriend me.
Прости, но я уже обещал другой.
I saw Katya's face contort slightly, but she didn't say anything bad. I rushed to squeeze myself through the laughing classmates looking for Polina. But instead, I stumbled into my new buddies. Ronka and Biasha were waiting for me at the notice board.
Я в тебе не ошибся, Тошик.
Toshik! How cute!
Пацан, не спалил, как мы чуть было свинью не забили.
Это повело бы милицию по ложному следу. Наверное. А вы точно не имеете отношения к исчезновению Семёна?
Мы-то нет, а вот ты. Помнишь, как срулил от нас в потемках?
Ага, я так и говорю. Очкарик, дверь! Феодырного нагонит и кокнет на!
Damn, that's interesting from their perspective that it felt kind of normal, but not really.
Базаришь.
But they are like, yeah, he definitely was going for that guy!
Однако
Oh
мы тебе
god.
верим. А ты нам?
Ronka's stern look made me uncomfortable, so I nodded.
Вот ты славно.
Это, Антон, а где ты так классно рисовать научился?
I got flustered, but tried not to show it. I picked at the floor with my boots instead.
Да так. У меня с детства хорошо получалось.
Wow, okay, Anton, that's full of shit.
Круто! Я вот тоже художник. Паяльником по дереву выжигаю.
Oh, he's doing like this wood kind of things. I don't remember that part. Dang, Biasha, that's actually cool.
Вон мамки на день рождения тюльпан
Aw.
на разделочной доске.
It's cute. Biasha is in a comic for sure. I'm tempted to buy the comic now, you know? I'm very much tempted, but let's say, okay, stand-upper. I gotta say, if I will be happy with the ending, I will buy the comic to support them, to continue the support for the studio. Because honestly, first of all, I'm kind of intrigued about Katya's perspective, and second of all, you know, it would be kind of cool to read it.
Только давайте не будем обниматься на радость.
Okay. I don't know why, but like Biasha, I think Biasha low-key gay. Ronka lowered his voice and looked around the corridor in suspicion. The other kids were stealing glances at us, whispering.
Что ж, Сёма пропал, это правда. Как и факт, что не просто пропал, а скорее всего уже сдох.
Biasha shuddered.
А ты почем знаешь?
Так мы за это уже терли. Здесь такие случаи не впервой. Думаешь, Сенечка, Вова этот и Сёма в Нарнию попали?
Senechka. It sounds like the girl, because I assumed that he's talking about the first girl, like Senechka. Maybe he was close with her. Maybe he was like, she was. Maybe they went to Narnia.
Посидят в лесу с карамелькой за щекой и назад пришлепают. Ясно же, кто их к себе прибрал.
Неужели черный?
Маничела!
Biasha, chill.
Бля, буду пацаны, это все местное Чикатило.
I have a feeling comic can turn into a nice collectioner item. Yeah. I wish I could have a physical copy, but I don't think it's possible. I know they were selling it, but only in Russia, I think. Show me what is Chikatilo. Andrei Chikatilo, a Soviet serial killer and a cannibal. He sexually assaulted and killed at least 43 people, mostly women and children. He was later deemed legally sane and sentenced to death by a firing squad. I never heard of him. But now I'm kind of intrigued and I would love to listen to some podcast about him or I don't know, whatever. Andrei Chikatilo. I will make sure to read something about him at least. It's the first time I hear this last name.
Работа рассказывал, он тоже заячью губу в поселке видел.
Вычислить бы еще, кто он такой.
Ну, если этот убийца Бабурина завалил, он и по нашу душу явится, отвечаю.
I mean, that's not a stupid thing because like he was nearby, right? So Ромка is kind of right.
Слушайте, пока Тихонов лекцию читал, я в его папку тайком заглянул.
Бьяша whistled.
Там лежало кое-что. Печатка. Семина печатка. И я ее у того прихватил.
Да ладно! А ну, Дакет!
I looked around like a thief, then carefully took out the stolen ring.
Так я и думал на... Мне тело! На части нас разрезат!
Roma wasn't impressed by that information, he just nodded, looking grim.
А еще там фотография была. С гаражом. Черным.
Oh my god, poor Bjasha. Bjasha looked like he was punched in the gut. He staggered and hid his face in his hands.
Бляха!
Ромka rolled his eyes and swore.
Опять 25. Ну, спокойно, братан, спокойно.
Бяша, ты же встречал черный гараж раньше, так? Рома говорил, ты даже заглянул в него.
The Buryat kid started shaking all over as if he was thrown outside naked in the middle of winter. And every new question was like a bucket of cold water on top of that.
Что ты там видел?
Romka shielded his friend with his chest, clearly upset by my interrogation.
Забудь. Ничего он тебе толком не скажет. Бяши каждый раз мозг на бекрень сворачивает только...
Anybody had titled Death, Love and Strawberries? You're talking about the comic? What is this Bleach River? Yes, it is.
Коль ты теперь с нами, я тебе в первый, в последний раз рассказываю.
Romka leaned in like we were some sort of co-conspirators, winced in disgust as if reluctant to relive the memory and spoke in a whisper.
Осенью мы с пацанами от нефиг делать черной магией баловались. Хотели, как обычно, призвать пиковую даму там.
I don't remember this part.
Постебаться. То да сё. А вышло, брат, совсем не весело. Один старый чудило рассказал, что мы можем призвать настоящего духа, если нарушим один строжайший запрет предков. Черт. А я ведь сразу просек, что он ёбнутый. Всего-то надо было пойти за гаражи глубокой ночью. Постучать в самый-самый черный, мать его. Так, мол, явится эта черная параша и всех детей заберет в лучший из миров. Ай, вот мы приколы и клюнули.
Bjasha wrapped his hands around his head and let out a lengthy bleat. I wonder if he's like saying like that because, you know, he saw a little bit onto the garage. And because of that, like, this is his kind of like assigned animal, which would be messed up. But maybe that's the thing.
А когда Бяша тест на пацана проходил, то должен был в этот гараж постучать. Но эта хитрая морда просто туда заглянул.
Because he was the only one who get a peek. And we were already assigned to like be a bunny by Alisa, so we didn't really need to do it on our own. Like, we didn't have to look into it. Well, we did kind of like grasp a tiny bit of the open surface, but we didn't see anything inside.
И правильно сделал. Он от ужаса тогда так заорал, что слезы брызнули. Отвечаю, я такой истерики отродясь не видел. Явно там необещанная райская куща была. С тех пор черный гараж по нашим закоулкам шарится.
It's interesting, it's like as if they started it, which I don't know if it would be like that, you know?
Что же делать?
Because I think if that was the thing, Bjasha would be so gone. Oh, or maybe, oh my god, I didn't think about it. They think he's like doing the like a ship, but maybe, oh my god, but maybe he was like kind of seeing the fucking goat and that's why he's doing that. I didn't think about that before. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that, oh, that's actually, that would be mind breaking. That would be absolutely insane if that was the thing. Holy shit! Like, you know, he saw the goat and goats do this kind of stuttering kind of sound as well. But due to the trauma, he's unable to say that? Oh god, that would be messed up. That would be so great.
Вместе держаться, вот что. Втроем мы.
Stand-uppers, yeah, okay, stand-uppers as well. Okay, fair. Voltron! I know what Voltron is! I unfortunately watched the animation. But I know it's also the older version. An anime series about 5 teenagers that pilot robot lions that can fuse into a single mega robot to protect the universe from the forces of evil. It was aired in Russia during the 1990s on channel 2x2, I guess, or something like that. Biasha, who suddenly woke up from his shop, mumbled.
В Вольтроне их 5 было.
Ну, считай, мы покалеченный Вольтрон.
He looked at me with an adult gaze and nodded. His eyes were full of worry and sadness.
Ладно, раз Сёмы больше нет, айда с нами. Дело одно есть. Постоишь для вида, покараулишь. Тебя, кажется, уже боятся все.
Scared shitless of me? While I still couldn't wrap all that around my head, their attitude softened me up, and I agreed on the spot. They're good guys, they're just a little bit messed up, you know. A little bit rough on the edges, but I believe Romka and Biasha, they're kind of good guys. I followed Romka and Biasha through the twilight corridors of our school, savoring my newfound brazenness. We walked pompously, like heroes of some criminal drama, as if the three of us had access to some knowledge hidden from everybody else. You know, instead of Voltron, they could have been 3 musketeers, but I guess it's like a missed opportunity in here. And of course, like, I guess Voltron is more epic than some musketeers, right? I'm not sure I would have gone with them if they told me what the goal of our campaign was. Copium. Okay, shut up! Like, they're not that bad! Keep threatening you. Okay, fair enough. And in one of the endings, he stabs me as well. But it's because he's traumatized, you know, because of his father. He has daddy issues. He needs a therapist. But he can still, like, become a good person in the future. I believe that. Biasha, on the other hand, he only needs to change the haircut and it will be fine. And grow back his front teeth. We hid in the darkness near the school gym. My companions started rubbing their knuckles watching boys leave their dressing room. Finally, Biasha pointed at some inside the crowd. Never mind, like they're going to bully other kids. Romka smiled dangerously and proclaimed in a low voice.
Стой на стрёме, и если кто из училок объявится, дай знать.
Гляди в 4 глаза.
Never mind. I stood at the corner filled with conflicting feelings and thoughts. In a cul-de-sac behind me, Romka was having a back and forth with some 5th grader. The boy was protesting on the verge of tears, but Romka stood his ground, spewing countless obscenities at him, with Biasha occasionally adding a couple of words of his own. Would that praise me for involving myself with this? My new friends came out of the cul-de-sac. A light bulb illuminated the camera in Romka's hands.
Ого, полароид. Он твой?
Romka shook the black electronics marvel with a retractable flash in disinterested.
Теперь мой. Мне тут один должник велик торчал за свой гнилой базар. Но, говорит, нет у него велосипеда. Вот и расплатился фотиком. А мне он, честно говоря, в хер не впился.
I felt bad for that boy, but all the negative thoughts disappeared when I looked at the treasured camera. Oh, we got something out of it, so now we don't feel bad anymore. I could clearly imagine how happy Olia would be with this Polaroid. I imagined myself taking pictures of my sister, dad, and mom. The faces of my family would gradually appear on the hard paper as if emerging from the dissolving mist. I'd take pictures of Polina too, but that way I'll be able to get her photo for myself. Oh my god, that's so fucking creepy. Anton! Stop it! I'd keep it in my desk under lock and... Oh god, I don't want to know. I don't want to know, Anton.
Раз он тебе не нужен, можешь мне его отдать?
Okay, wait. I think we need to save because from what I remember, we will be playing rock, paper, scissors. And, you know, as much as I was very lucky first time I played this game, and winning immediately, I don't know if I'll be able to do that again. Roma measured me with sharp glare, turning into the Romka I met yesterday. The callous leader of a carnivorous pack.
Ты извини, братан, но я вещами
You probably
просто
want to go
так
to
не
the
разбрасываюсь.
pawn shop and sell it.
Могу в ломбард
Yeah,
пойти
okay.
или разыграть во что-нибудь.
For some reason, as soon as he mentioned the game, I remembered Alisa. I looked at the
Ну,
Polaroid.
давай с тобой на него сыграем. Только во что?
Biasha snickered into his fist.
Чаром! Снимем с нашего Антовки последние штаны.
Я тебе что, пидор с пацанов штаны снимаю?
Oh my god! I'm telling you, Biasha is fruity. He okay, never mind. We're saving here. I'm going to keep on saving until we get to the option. Ромка stared at me from above.
На что играть собрался? У тебя хоть бабки есть?
Во-во! Свети карманы, Тофик.
I slowly turned the pockets of my pants inside out in vain hopes of salvaging at least some change from my lunch money. Something rustled in my pocket. I fished out the Mercedes Benz insert I got thanks to Alisa. I guess I shoved it there without thinking when it flew out of my school bag with all the
А
notebooks.
на вкладыши играете?
Biasha's eyes almost popped out of their sockets as soon as I brought the car's picture closer, but Romka didn't move a muscle.
Хочешь, чтобы я целый фотик за какой-то там фантик отдал?
Это за...
Да жвачки это рубль цена, а в полароиде кассета еще целая.
Да это да...
Biasha cannot stop
Ой,
himself.
у меня таких вкладышей жопой жуй, на кой мне еще?
Мерседес-Бенц, на! Его одного и не хватало, Ромыч!
They even share their collection. Crazy.
Фу, блин.
Romka spit on the ground and slapped Biasha over the back of the head.
Ну ты и трепло, братка. Теперь он за него цену до небес взвинтит.
I love how, like, you see, that's the thing people will never understand. Like, oh, you want to swap a piece of paper for the whole entire Polaroid. People who collect cards, especially Pokemon ones, they will understand. Just like I suspected, this automobile was a valuable addition for every Turbo Gun collector.
Ага, значит, появился интерес? Так во что будем играть?
Подкидного!
В ножички?
In the blink of an eye, a greasy deck of most likely marked cards appeared in Biasha's hands, and Romka masterfully swung his butterfly knife like in front of my nose. I had no desire to play by the rules.
А давайте в камень-ножницы.
О, а ты у нас любишь рисковать.
Yes, we are a gambler.
Ну что, мой полароид против твоего мерса?
По рукам.
Okay, we have the deal. We're saving the deal, and we're hoping to win it. I'm not a loser. We gotta win. Okay, the guy looks like he's very offensive, so let's start with a paper, because I'm pretty sure he's going to go with a rock. Yeah! Okay, I raised my fist towards the ceiling in triumph.
Стопэ. У нас принято до
That's a
3 побед
5!
играть.
Shit! Okay, now...
Раньше сказать.
Ты думал, все так просто будет, на?
Не пойму, чё ты хмуришься так? Один раз уже выиграл преимущество на
I
твоей
like how
стороне.
his knuckles are, you know... It's visible that he is punching a lot.
Давай-ка продолжим. Раз, два, три!
Мальчики, okay, now... Let's take a rock. Fuck! Okay. Let's take rock again. Okay. Let's take scissors. Fuck! Stop copying me! Let's take rock again. Fuck! Not good. Let's take scissors. Okay. Okay, last one. We started with paper, we're finishing with paper. Fuck! Okay, no. No. We were playing that. No. Load. That didn't happen. Yes. Okay. This time we win. I wonder if it's like the same thing. No, it's not the same. Oh my god, it's literally a gamble. Okay. Okay. So after, what did he pick? We chose see. Okay, let's take rock again. Okay, never mind. Let's take the rock again. Fuck. Okay. He'll take scissors. No. Let's take scissors. Okay. Let's go with rock. Fuck. Okay, let's go with paper. Whatever happens. Okay, never mind. Let's go with paper again. What happens. Fuck. No. I had to be really lucky if I played the game and won for the first time. Yes.
По рукам.
Okay. One more time. We're not fucking it up, okay? Okay. Well. Oh shit. Wait, I didn't think they would say something else. I should have known. Nice one, Romka. Toshik never stood a chance, eh? As sad as I was to be left with nothing in the end, I held out the insert to the boys. That always said that the card debt is sacred. And it still stood true there, here, even without the cards. Romka crossed his hands on his chest while smirking and eyeing his prize, and then spoke after looking up at me. Why so sad, Toshik? Fine, since we're friends, I'll give you a chance to get back. Let's say we play best of 5? You're so generous, dude. My friends let out another hyena-like laugh, and then Romka lifted his fist with serious look in his eyes. Oh, that's nice! That's nice! He was raring to go on. Okay. He's just a gambler. He wants to keep on gambling, you know? Okay. Okay, 2. Let's go with paper. Okay, 3. Oh, we won! Alright, I looked at my opponent with suspicion.
Ну, я выиграл. Или теперь мне нужно...
Let's go! Okay, let's save this. Let's save it. We won! And I also unlocked... No, maybe I didn't unlock something that I've never had before. Romka mumbled something under his breath. He probably refused to play by the rules, and I'll be left with nothing.
Ромать, все по чесноку, на.
Romka reluctantly gave up.
Везучий ты, сука.
No, I actually had to do 3 tries, Romka. Don't beat yourself up over that. I need it though. Oh, okay. Why that's the thing that he thought of? Like, why would I? Okay, never mind. I weighed the Polaroid on my palms and realized that I was smirking like a true winner. We just need it. Trust me, we need it. This is actually an item that is necessary for us. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. There's more snow, isn't there? The forest still held out its gnarly claws towards the village, and the wind whipped up white flags weaved from powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Olya. Vovas and Semyon's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board, and round-faced Senya hasn't returned home too. But something did change. I could see how different the looks of my classmates were. They made my pockets bulge with gifted apples. Their animosity was gone. School wasn't scary anymore. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats and humiliation, or... I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. I'll be waiting at Cul de Sa, near the dressing room. Come alone. Blackberry. Inside was a message in beautiful handwriting. Okay, I read that already. Drunk on that sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody's following me. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around the corner. As soon as I did that, I rammed into somebody inside the dark nook. Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided to my feet. Paulina puffed her cheek in exaggerated anger.
Петров, да ты совсем зрение
Sorry,
потерял.
Paulina. I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопился. Ты меня ждала? Что случилось?
Paulina studied me with her eyes and clicked her tongue.
А знаешь, на что ты похож, Антоша? на блюзовую импровизацию.
What are you talking about, girl? I blinked in bewilderment.
Это как?
Для меня все люди с чем-то ассоциируются.
И для меня, но не с музыкой же.
Вот как раз с музыкой. Бывают люди гитарные соло, или барабанный бой, или военный марш, как наша Лилия Павловна. А ты такой задумчивый, таинственный, иногда немного печальный. Ты точно блюз.
А почему импровизация?
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия, какой темп возьмет.
Of course, some of the things Paulina said went completely over my head, but I couldn't stop looking at her smile light like a breeze in May and her eyes deep and blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и вкус. Это не какая-то там эстрада.
Okay, she's a pop music hater. Fuck you.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот блюз.
Paulina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful.
Не произноси при мне такие слова. Я тебе обязательно дам кассету. Раньше мне дедушка из города столько музыки привозил. И джаз, и свинг, и классику. Это он подметил, что у меня склад ума, как у музыканта. Я еще совсем маленькой пыталась на бумаге записать звуки природы. Пение дождя, леса.
Эх, мне бы твои уши.
А мне бы твои глаза.
I tensed up, worried that she was making fun of me, but Paulina shook her head.
Да-да, я серьезно. У тебя глаза художника. Смотришь на вещи и фиксируешь их. Я так не умею.
Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glare. We dove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь, почему мы тут прячемся? Вот из-за таких, как она.
Yeah.
Катька, какая мелодия.
Paulina flashed me a sly smile.
Скрип несмазанных дверных петель.
Wow.
Знаешь, такой мерзкий дискант.
More like... I giggled, covering my mouth. More like the screech of the blackboard, I would say. Katya didn't hear out whispers, but she suddenly glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it in my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side had the name of the owner and two words. Friends only.
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвали.
Прости, это анкета?
Заполнял когда-нибудь?
I lied that I had. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was the sign of friendship. That was bullshit. You know what that was? That was no friendship whatsoever. No. Obviously, the first pages were... and I think in general it was a fun concept. But like the first few entries were your best friends, and then further on you were like collecting them, like full-on collectibles, like you wanted all your classmates to have it. And it was nice, right? Because like back then you felt like as I said before, I never really argued with any of my classmates. Really, I didn't have like any arguments other than like when two of my friends backstabbed me. But even then, like I was more like being petty and trying to turn them against each other rather than making them upset on my own. So I was the sneaky one. But like, imagine like having a note and you just like go to anyone and you're not scared of them turning you down. You just go by and like, hey, could you fill it up, because like I still didn't give it to you. And like none of the girls ever said, no, sorry, I cannot do that. They were like, oh, I already have one, so I'm just going to fill that up. You can ask me tomorrow or something like that, in the worst case scenario. So everyone did that because everyone loved doing that. And it was fun. And I think I even had like few guys as well to fill it up. Guys usually didn't have their own things, but they did like to write right in those kind of questionnaires as well. So it was fun. It was like one thing that connected the entire class. And it was cute, you know? I wonder if they still do that. Or maybe they're not doing that anymore. I don't know. But it was cute. Maybe we should do something. Oh, that would be so... Dude, doing something like that as VTubers would be lovely. Like, imagine... obviously, it would be much harder because, like, all different countries and all. But imagine even, like, if I went to... I don't know. I think maybe making a digital version of it. I think it would be adorable, you know? I think it would be adorable. Like, most of people right now, they have, like, drawing apps or they can download Krita so they can do things. Like, they don't have to write, like, on their own. They don't have, like, they can draw some doodle with, even with a mouse or something. It would be cute. Maybe that's a good project idea. I don't know if it would, you know, become popular, but I think it would be fun to do. I think it would be adorable. Okay, whatever. Whatever. That's an idea that I need to write down. It would be fun. It would be cute. And maybe something even more. Something I only had a vague idea about.
Хочешь, заполни мою?
My heartbeat quickened.
Хочу, спасибо.
Polina giggled.
А хотя... Там же столько секретов. Наверное, лучше тебе не знать, о чем мы, девочки, думаем.
She reached for the notebook playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with her silky locks. It's a pretty drawing, I gotta say. I really like how they draw her. It feels so natural, you know? But it's rough, but it feels good. I'm jealous. I wish I could draw like that. I know it's like a specific type of a brush to be used, but I don't know how to do it. I'm shit. I'm shit at drawing in this. Although maybe that's another challenge to try to draw something in this style. I would need to download brushes there or check out which Clip Studio brushes are similar enough. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world. Fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it, steal it for myself. Jesus, chill. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tikhonov.
Ваша анкета является важнейшей уликой, и я вынужден временно изъять ее для изучения.
Polina covered her mouth that rounded in fake horror.
И что мне грозит за сокрытие улик?
And you know what? I think like everyone always wanted, because like when you put those questionnaires around, you usually when you checked out each other's questionnaires, you were like, oh, this one gives like nice stickers or this, and so you wanted to give it to people first who you knew they liked to customize their questionnaire and not only answer that. So yeah. And the funniest part is that one of the guys in my class, I think he owned the most stickers because like he always had like the best entries.
Следствие покажет.
Сдаюсь, товарищ милиционер. Только обещайте ничего не читать. Здесь содержатся секретные сведения.
Боюсь, что мне все-таки придется выяснить, не влюблен ли кто в гражданина Петрова.
Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with her aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper was hot, like a piece of butter sizzling on a pan. Stop it, Anton!
Тогда поклянитесь, что не
Jesus, they're like 12 years old. Lower the horniness.
Честная милицейская.
А теперь, Антоша, самое время поторопиться.
I took out the notebook during class. With utmost care, as if it was some sort of fragile treasure, skimmed through it, reading into other people's preferences. I was quite surprised to discover Romka's jerky handwriting inside. And it was the first one, no, maybe not the first one, because he turned some pages. I forgot that you do this handprint as well. His letters bulged out of the cells as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. Fearsome Romka phone time for something so silly? I chuckled into my fist after I found out that Romka's favorite cartoon is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Okay, DuckTales is cool, okay? Okay. Somewhere in the distance, the teacher was reciting pieces of Andreev's Snapper. I paid them no mind. So it's Roma Piatifan, 6B, Shafutinsky, probably the favorite singer, composer. Birthday in February. Favorite thing to do? 6, your dream, buying a BMW. 7, your favorite actor, probably. 8, don't trust, don't fret. Don't... So your favorite quote, right? Number 9, phone number. And this was a place where you basically, it was your phone book as well. Number 10, DuckTales, and 11, DuckTales of favorite cartoon, and 11, best friend. And this Piasha, which is cute. Paulina's page was decorated with flowers, drawings, and clippings from the Cool Girl magazine. Franz Schubert, yeah, my favorite composer. Oh, maybe it's favorite. No, my birthday. What? Robert Schumann. Or maybe like not favorite actor, but like favorite celebrity. Worst fear? Losing the people. No, wait. I guess? Best friend Grandpa, that's also adorable. Her favorite musician is Schubert. Okay, favorite musician. Her best friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violin like I expected, but much more mysterious. Listening. That's actually creepy, you know? Can such a mundane process really be someone's hobby? I looked at Paulina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. Okay, so there are questions. What's your name? What class are you in? Your favorite music, favorite holiday? Ah, okay, favorite holiday. February? February is a favorite holiday. What? It's too Russian for me to understand, probably. Your hobby, what's your dream, your hero? Oh, your hero. Okay, so Schwarzenegger was his hero. Your biggest fear, your phone number, your favorite cartoon, your best friend. Okay. We had like 30 questions. Not only 11, we had like 30. I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with a pen. Anton Petrov, class 6B. Oh shit, wait. What was in the backlog? I took a long time to decide on my favorite musician until a trendy pop band, Carmen, came to mind with the cool dancers in the music video. Favorite holiday? This one's easy. New Year's. My hobby is drawing. My dream? Going to Disneyland, I guess. My hero? My hand moved on its own, writing that. I stopped on those 2 letters. What if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, I decided that not everything should be disclosed on paper. That's how that turned into Spider-Man. The spelling was wrong, but who cares? Your biggest fear, huh? I immediately wrote, losing a person who's dear to me. Your phone number. No secret here. 30395. Your favorite cartoon. Transformers. Your best friend. I hesitated knowing on the pen's cap. I remembered Alisa gliding behind the trees, laughing enthusiastically from the shadows. After all, she was the one who stopped the colossus of a monster that wanders the forest in the night from tearing me to bits. I mentioned a masked girl to Romka and Biasha before, but they just gave me weird looks. I wonder what she's up to right now. Your best friend? I read the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time very important. My answer consisted of 3 letters and I filled them in the cells with care. You. That's a lie. You should have written Olya or something. I repeated when running out of the school. Refreshing frosty air made my cheeks turn beet red. It was bright outside and the sun looked like a whole egg yolk. The road looked as if it was silvered. The snow sparkled under the sunlight. I smiled, squinting from the blinding whiteness. There was also something magical in my chest that beckoned me. Because friendship can grow into something bigger. Hi, Biasha. I swallowed my smile and turned red.
Вот так. Анекдот вспомнил.
Smooth. Biasha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard, his boots restless on the ice.
Ну, делись тогда на.
I rummaged through my memory and blurted out a random joke I'd hear today in the cafeteria.
Кощей вышел на крыльцо почесать себе сундук, зайца, утку и яйцо.
That's a terrible joke. Thank you.
Ясно, Петросян.
Petrosian. A Soviet and Russian stand-up comic. Oh my god, Generalny! You see, he knows the stand-up guy. He just like you predicted, you know. Stand-up comic, colloquially known as the king of humorous remakes and dad jokes. Oh.
Ну, идем на.
He walked toward the school's corner without waiting for me. I hesitantly tagged along.
Куда?
Мы теперь в одной связке и действуем заодно.
Now we move together.
Помощь твоя нужна в кое-каком дельце.
I felt chills run all over my body. I didn't like the sound of that small business. Those words, accompanied by spitting, normally hid very dark deeds underneath them. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have a small business to discuss." Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This suspicious man, I'm like 90% sure he's connected to Anton's dad. And honestly, Anton not writing that and like being embarrassed about it, I think it would be better if they like written it as like, is he still my hero really when he's acting like that recently? I would rather it to be like that rather than, oh, he's just embarrassed for others to find out. Biasha turned around. He looked like an astronaut in this tight hood. If I were to imagine him as a sound, he'd be a deafening whistle, a signal given by someone who stands watch. My knees started shaking as soon as I thought that I was about to be dragged into something shady. Jesus. Bro. Images flashed before my eyes, Tikhonov's strict gaze as he shuts the prison cell door on me, my father hitting the bars in anger, Mom and Olya crying nearby. Mom wasn't even there! To my demise, there was nobody at the backyard. Apart from the grim-faced Ronka. He stood there, his feet wide apart, with his right hand hidden behind his back. He must be holding a knife, the steel butterfly of death that flies toward a person's heartbeat. Ronka's dry lips were tightly pursed. He kept shooting glances at me as he looked around. What's going on? It was as if Ronka read an announcement and announced my thoughts.
Что происходит?
Ничего, проветриваемся на.
Biasha's voice sounded nasty, snarky.
Проветривайся в другом месте.
А мне и здесь нормально. Да, куколка?
I'm telling you, Biasha is always like acting, like, I don't know, getting into some gay kind of things. Baby? Is he talking to me? I was so bewildered, I wasn't able to squeeze out a single sound in reply. Yeah, imagine a guy who's your friend for a day suddenly calling you babe or something like that, and you're like, wait, what? I'm sorry, what? I just watched the bizarre scene played out in front of me by my new problematic friends.
Видишь? Ты ее напугал!
I love this scene so much.
Тебе какая забота, говнюк?
I-
Ладно, пока
It's
цел.
so stupidly good. I was trying to digest what I just heard. Did Biasha really call Romka a shithead? Is he out of his mind? Biasha ignored my weak protest and stepped towards Roma, swung at him in a weird comical manner. Romka blocked the punch with his free hand, keeping his right hand behind his back. Even actors in Indian films that my mom loves fight more convincingly. Jesus, what a call-out. Biasha started weeping even though I hadn't seen Romka hitting him.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй, больно как! У меня сотрясение мозга!
Romka kicked him in the knee and Biasha fell to the ground sighing and moaning. And I stared at their approaching Romka without blinking. His elbow was twitching and his hand crawled from behind his back. I grew roots into the asphalt. A blade will shine in front of me. Here it comes. Romka yanked his hand from behind his back. My teeth chattered from fear. A bouquet of snowdrops. This scene is so absurd. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, I love it. It's so stupid. as a bouquet of snowdrops that appeared out of nowhere in this freezing weather swayed in front of my face. What's this? Flowers?
Позволь проводить тебя, а то, сама знаешь, шастают тут всякие маньяки.
Ну а чё она? Бедным маньякам уже и посасать нельзя.
Эх, хреновый из тебя маньяк, Бяшка. Даже Тоха не повелся. А она нас в 2 счета раскусит.
Words finally returned to me.
Она? Кто она? Что тут творится?
Romka snorted, blowing snowflakes off the flowers.
Да, маленькая репетиция, братан. Хотели на твою реакцию посмотреть.
Biasha stood up and brushed himself off.
Да Ромыч в тёлку одну втюрился. Вон откуда-то цветы нарыл-на.
Пасть заткни! Я так, планируем подкатить слегка. Разыграть представление, а то она неприступная, мать её за ногу. Типа гуляет девочка себе, а к ней докапывается такое вот говно.
Biasha grumbled, upset.
Сам ты говно!
Ну и я такой ее раз и спасаю. Но чё-то Бяша совсем бездарный актер. Давай-ка ты маньяком будешь.
Я?
Ну а чё? Как по телеку показывали, маньяки вообще всегда тихие, скромные люди.
Unfortunately, Roma is kind of right.
Вот прям как ты. А благодаря Катькиным сплетням все в школе думают, что именно ты бабурину кокнул. Давай, соглашайся, Тох.
I felt relieved. Nothing criminal, just a sin for a girl.
А что делать-то надо?
Ты же видел Бяшино кривление? Тип, идешь ко мне, борзый такой, можешь разок в печень заехать, а я тебя тип херак и в сугроб.
Ну, давайте попробуем.
Roma livened up.
Отлично. Бяша, меняешь пол. Ты теперь тёлочка.
Immediately change of approach, and he's telling him he's a shit actor. Like, if you cannot see all the fruitiness coming out of Biasha right now, I think you're blind. Biasha started dragging his feet along the schoolyard, grimacing.
Я тёлочка красивая.
Never mind, okay, he's a shit actor.
Тоха, действуй.
I went toward Romka, finding an urge to smile. He hit his hands again and put on stern expression. 5-star actor.
Она моя!
Рискни!
And I tried. I threw a punch in the direction of my friend. My knuckles barely grazed his leather coat, and Romka suddenly fell. Not from my laughable poke, of course, but because he slipped on ice. He plopped on his back with his full weight, without a chance to get his hand out of the way. Petals from the squashed flowers were left on the snow. I rushed to help.
Ой, бля! Да погоди ты, не дергай!
Не сломал?
Rom was carefully working his wrist.
Цени! Ушиб вроде.
It's so freaking stupid, I can't.
Приложить нужно.
Тебя, мудака, приложить нужно.
I mean, he was sitting in the snow, so it's probably like well cold. Romka was already laughing as he got up and gathered the flowers.
Да, если я так при подруге навернусь, можно будет про нее забыть.
Давай еще раз отрепетируем.
Roma shook his head.
Вечером, как рука пройдет. Не хочу опозориться перед первой скрипкой школы.
I stumbled mid-word. A switch flipped in my head. It all made sense now. I remembered Romka constantly sneaking glances at Polina. I remembered his scrawly handwriting in the questionnaire. Why didn't I study it more in depth? I felt like somebody hit me over the head with a giant hammer, making me sink into the ground. Polina. She was the main character of this play, directed by Romka. And I landed the role of the third wheel. I mumbled hesitantly.
Договорились.
Вот это я понимаю, команда Вольтрона. Один за всех
И все на одного!
захлопни. Если вдруг тебе понадобится помощь, Антоха, можешь рассчитывать на меня. А теперь бывай. Вечером мы к тебе заглянем.
The aftertaste of horrible water I drank down my meds with lingered in my mouth. My thoughts were focused on Polina. but the play where I was assigned the role of a villain was also on my mind. I wandered around the house feeling intoxicated and nodded to everything my sister said without trying to discern her words. Olia was talking non-stop at times, lifting up her arms and laughing only to then suddenly go quiet and give me mom's signature gnarly look. I was yanked out of the prison of my own mind, where sitting thoughts pecked at my brain like harpies, stopping me from coming back to reality. I stared back. Olia looked like a mini version of our mom right now. Well, to be precise, she looked like the person mom turned into when we moved here, with her intimidating posture and her eyebrows directed toward the ceiling.
Ты меня не слушал, так?
Shit. She tried spitting out those words at me, copying facial expressions of the person she spent almost all of her free time with. For a moment I felt like the light Olia exuded all these years waned and wavered in the wind of prolonged changes. Very soon my beautiful princess will turn— oh my god, okay, well. It's weird for me to hear a brother call his younger sister a beautiful princess, but okay. Will turn into the dragon that was once guarding her prison tower. That thought was much scarier to me than any other horror sneaking up to me from the future.
Оля, прости. Ты же не сердишься, правда? Я просто задумался.
I looked around the room, my gaze jumping from one object to another like a hungry beast, trying to find anything that could distract Olia.
А давай в приставку поиграем.
Olia pouted, but there was a spark of interest in her small emerald eyes. The Snow Queen's eyes shard inside them started thawing.
А как же второй джойстик? Не работает же. А папе починить некогда.
Можем из пистолета пострелять. В ковбоев или уток. Хочешь? Да ладно тебе. Поди целый день тренировалась, пока меня дома не было.
Olia burst out laughing. Her heart was warm once again.
А как ты догадался? Я сейчас знаешь, какая меткая. Считай, уже проиграл.
Не на того напала. Включай скорее.
Okay, do we have something to do in here? Like, probably not. So I'm pretty sure we need to put down another— you see, we have so much more. I think when we first played it, I only had the glove. So it's much more items in there. I hid Samuel's signet ring in my desk's drawer. I was still unsure whether I did the right thing by stealing a crucial piece of evidence from the police. Then I relocated to my sister's room. Little Olia jumped toward the TV set and after flicking the power switch, started blindly feeling around the back side of the photon, trying to plug the console's cable into the antenna input. Bits of TV shows started flashing on the CRT screen when I armed myself with the remote to look for the channel with the sought after dandy signal.
Что дома интересного происходило?
It was a mundane question for me. I didn't put an actual meaning behind it. But Olia's expression suddenly changed. She lost all of the childish nonchalantness she worked so hard to acquire before.
Оль, что-то случилось?
My sister managed to put the cable in its place and started brushing off her dust-covered hand. She was clearly looking for the courage to continue the conversation.
Мама,
Olia went silent, and for a moment I thought I saw tears welling up in her eyes.
у нее опять был этот страшный.
My sister looked at me with wet eyes.
Приступ.
She had a fit. That's interesting. This had happened before, but it was a rare occasion. Now that we'd moved to this godforsaken place, Mom's fits rose in frequency.
Папа принес большую рыбу.
This fish is creepy.
Она в газету была завернута и пахла так. Бэ. А мама опять начала злиться. Потом взяла
But she already had it before they came here, which means maybe at some point something happened to her, but she did not disappear. Like, she survived whatever is happening in this city, in this town. Olia squirmed, looking fearfully out of the window.
начали громко ругаться. И
A I froze, imagining my little sister so small and unnoticeable standing in the kitchen doorway. She wasn't even trying to hide. Our parents just paid her no mind at all.
Потом мама ударила. Вот так.
Olya slightly moved her fist downward, imitating a strike.
Рыбу. Она была живая тоже. Ей было больно. А мама...
It was easy to imagine what happened next. A writhing fish with a blade between its fins squirted some foul-smelling musk into Mom's face. Whenever death got this close to my mom, be it when a person was hit by a bus in front of us all, and their blood was smeared all over the windshield, or when Grandma chopped off a chicken's head, Mom would always get into a weird, dreadful fit. Maybe that's why she was so mad when we found it, like the glove. You know, like she got so switched because like she felt the scent of death. And possibly she gets worse now because first of all, the children go missing. So, you know, everything around it is like putting her into this state. But also because Anton is actually holding items that belongs to children that are no longer there. Maybe. I don't know. But I forgot about this part. Shit, I did not remember this much about their parents. I didn't focus too much on them, but now I see like they're very suspicious. So if they're not going to explain in chapter 5, I will be very disappointed. Her eyes would roll over. She would fall on her face like a freshly cut tree and started writhing just like that agonizing fish, turning over chairs and blurting out bits of scary sentences.
Папа, он ей помог?
Olya shuddered as if just remembering it pained her.
Да, но вначале он
This-
засмеялся.
Okay. Okay, that's messed up. Now I don't know anymore.
Так страшно. Как ты увидел, что маме плохо? Потом вдруг заплакал.
Olya's story made me raise an eyebrow. It seemed like the forest's oozing madness had not only completely consumed our mom, but also infected our strong and courageous dad. I quickly stepped toward Olya and locked her in a tight embrace. She dug her face into my chest and I could feel my shirt becoming wet.
Зачем они так издеваются друг над другом тоже? Они сумасшедшие.
Yeah, possibly, Olya, possibly. I stuttered, unable to justify the actions of our parents. I had run out of words and all I could do was hug Olya even tighter. Fuck off! Fuck off! Olya screams and hid behind me. I literally got chills on my fingers only. That was weird. Olya screamed and hid behind me.
Переключи скорей!
No matter how many times she saw this interest, she would always react the same, just like when she saw that all. I mean, I also got goosebumps every time this ghastly face appeared on the screen, so I immediately complied with my sister's request. What the fuck is that? VID. A TV company logo depicting a ceramic head of the Chinese philosopher Wu Shang with a three-legged toad on top of his head. It installed horror in the whole generation of 90s kids in Russia. Who thought of that? Like, bro, what's wrong with Russia? Fucking Chinese cultivation. I knew it's bad from the very beginning. Okay, I guess we have nothing else to do than to play, so let's play. Finally, the game selection screen showed up for the cartridge that was bundled with the console. Too bad most of the names here were just different levels of the same game. I picked up the grey rectangular controller and started looking around the pixel letters to find the familiar English word for duck. Background music from the menu suited Olya's mind as she asked in a calm voice.
А как твои дела в школе?
Да вот, завел пару друзей, наверное.
Ого, целых 2. Везет.
Цалых двух.
Птичку видел?
Ага, ее зовут Алиса.
I immediately felt uneasy when my new acquaintance was mentioned.
Откуда ты знаешь? Она так сказала.
Да, когда с мамой мусор ходили выбрасывать. А еще говорила, что спасла тебя.
Well, she's telling half-truths, Olya.
Спасла?
I remembered my fight with the delinquents in the forest and that mysterious whisper from the thicket. I remembered the fleeing Semyon and the horned giant towering above me with its outstretched hand. All the time I could feel Alisa's unseen presence, as if she was watching me from behind the crooked trees. A smile stuck to her ginger mask. I shuddered, chasing away this delusion.
А еще она что-нибудь говорила?
Нет. Мама так быстро вернулась. Я ее хотела с лисичкой познакомить, а та уже убежала.
Ты ее не
Finally
боишься?
back from the kitchen. Welcome back!
А почему я должна бояться? Алиса добрая, такая пушистая и красивая. Не то что сова.
It's funny because both Alisa and the owl are kind of in the same gang, so to say like the owl is like that and Alisa is different is kind of funny. I plugged the light gun into the second controller port, listening to my sister's laugh.
Тюря первая!
Okay. Never knew stuff paper needs that much of work. Oh, it does. Okay, so you have like different choices in there. You either go easy on Olia, or you go full ham. Which I don't remember what kind of achievement, or if I get all the achievements. But I don't want my sister to be like mad. So Olia is giving herself to you to what?
Метка, ничего не скажешь.
I see, now we're equal. Look at that, she aims only for 2 seconds. Yeah! Okay. Full Zen mode. Yeah, that's true. That's why we're playing her game, you know? Never mind. Never mind, I missed fucking everything. Maybe that's her strategy. We're trying to make equal. So she doesn't feel like, hey, you're trying to make me feel better. We're making...
Хорош, почти как я.
I don't remember a final round, okay. Damn, she good! She got all 3 shots, I'm going to lose! Fuck! I'm definitely going to lose. Never mind. Okay, never mind. I don't remember if she got them all though. Now she clowned on you? Yeah. Now she's like, look at me now. Fuck. Fuck! Okay, I got one less, I think. Oh, never mind. Shit! Okay, I looked in too hard. I don't know how you did that, girl! Chill! My mom only managed to get through to me on her 3rd attempt. Okay, but I was holding back on round 2, okay? She had less chances. I don't know what's going on in there, you know? Like, I don't understand that either. Yeah, the game is unfair. The game is rigged. I'm sorry, Olia. I didn't know they were going to give me more chances. I just thought like, oh, she hit everything, so I have to hit everything as well. I didn't check her score. I sobered up in an instant and rushed to the hallway.
Не споткнись, смотри.
I like this part very much. Maybe I'm because I'm an artist, but it's like, yeah, I like this part. She shrugged and went into the... Wait, I didn't read that, right? I grabbed the phone, pressed into my chest, looking at my mom. She shrugged and went into the room, gathering the toys thrown around by Olia as she went.
Алло?
У твоей мамы такой молодой голос.
А, ну да. Она сама молодая.
Не мешаю?
Нет, что ты.
If only she knew how costly this conversation could be for me, what risks I took on just answering this call. There were a pen and shabby notepad lying on the nightstand. I picked them up and started moving the tip of the pen across the paper, producing chaotic doodles that always ended up turning into hearts. Ah, how cute!
Я прочла твои ответы. А тебе действительно Кармен нравится?
Мне, если по правде, русский рок больше нравится. но я почему-то постеснялся это написать.
А хочешь, Антоша, и я честной буду?
Конечно.
The pen drew an outline of a girl's face, her eyes, her long eyelashes. Polina spoke in a hushed voice, probably to keep her grandpa from hearing.
Здесь ужасно тоскливо.
Дома?
В поселке. Здесь никогда и ничего не
I
происходит.
really like this doodle.
А если происходит, то всякая гадость. И дело даже не в пропавших детях. Здесь музыки мало.
Но у тебя же кассеты есть.
Я не про записи. Я про... ну, голос этого места. Он не мелодичный. Все шуршит, как патефонная игла. Скрипит, воет изредка. Тут неуютно. Тесно очень. Не знаю, как объяснить тебе.
My pen's tips drafted a house surrounded by tall trees.
Моя
Oh
сестренка
shit!
говорит, что чувствует...
Wait. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Okay. My little sister says that she feels like a prisoner here.
Вот и я. Я очень люблю дедушку.
Well, that's the first thing. The second thing, Paulina, is that you're a kid, so you cannot leave anyways.
Но порой так хочется убежать. Далеко-далеко.
Into the forest, I thought half-heartedly. To run under the falling snowflakes that make your fur white and the branches that hide you from prying eyes.
Я, когда рисую, будто путешествую.
У меня также со скрипкой. Убегаю по смычку в небо.
I wouldn't be able to draw a knife from a memory like that. I realized I was drawing a butterfly knife. I crossed it over. Thinking of Romka ruined my mood. Oh my god, it sounds weird. Should I tell her? Should I warn her about his plans to seduce her? I could throw a wrench into those plans. But what about our Voltron team? They may not be my best friends, but we're still buddies. Who wouldn't I become if I betrayed them? So I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. We chose Alisa's branch anyway, so maybe let's not. We need to be, you know, we need to be bros, you know? It's rude, like, she's probably going to not like him anyway, so... Yeah, we're Team Voltron, whatever. Yes, Romka did act horrible from time to time. He was unfair towards others and manipulated the weak. But something told me that friendship wasn't just a word to him. Didn't I wish to make friends in this new place? Even though they were as monstrous as the ancient forest scenery outside my window, I lifted my glasses, rubbed my eyes.
Поскорей бы уже повзрослеть.
Думаешь, будет проще?
The doorbell rang before I could reply. My wandering gaze stumbled upon the door. Romka and Biasha came to pick me up for the rehearsal, and I was supposed to help them lure away the girl I like.
Полин, подожди минутку.
I made a couple of steps and pressed myself into the door. Well, we gotta look. The light bulb hanging on the outside illuminated the porch, and I could discern two short silhouettes through the frozen peephole. Look what the cat dragged in.
Подождите, я сейчас!
I returned to the phone and picked up the handset.
Мне надо бежать.
Мне тоже. Спасибо, что выслушал.
My ear vibrated from the buzzing sounds. I think it's a good choice, like, especially, like, I'm not really that fond of Paulina in an alternative line, because, like, let's say there are, like, two branches, the main branches, and then you can make different choices, but there's, like, choice of Alisa's branch and Paulina's branch, basically. And we learn a little bit about, like, it feels like I feel like through Paulina's perspective, we follow more of, like, occult folklore kind of knowledge from her grandfather specifically. We also learned that she likes anime girls, and her favorite, like, is Sailor Pluto, I think. Maybe not Pluto. Yeah, I think maybe not Pluto. No, not Pluto. I don't know. But she likes one of the sailors, and I think she even gives us a smooch at this like this awkward moment. But she's kind of messed up in the head. So you know, like Alisa is messed up in the head, but at least she's like not hiding it. And I personally, I think like I enjoyed this part of the story better. That's why we're following Alisa's route. I lowered the handset on the phone and snuck a peek at the staircase. My mom, engrossed in her favorite TV show, didn't hear the ringer. I put on my shoes and hat without warning anyone and slipped into the dark winter evening. I blinked, getting used to the twilight. The wind plucked at my cheeks. It carried the cold, resinous smell of confused trees from the forest. Freezing air crackled somewhere in the field. Two shadows loomed in the front of the gate. I could only recognize them as my classmates because of their height. I walked toward the fence, listening to howling wind and the squeaking snow. One of the figures moved and slowly glided toward the thicket like an ice skater. I slowed down and touched my glass, trying in vain to adjust my vision to the surrounding darkness. Worry landed on my shoulders like a weightless snowflake. A snake woke up in my belly and started writhing. I felt nauseous. I thought about home, the flimsy fortress behind my back. Mom and Nolia were sitting on the second floor of the warm house in front of the TV, watching the adventures of characters in Santa Barbara. I really didn't want to be a part of Ronka's plan. And what I wanted even less was going there to the place where a double shadow was wavering in the wind. Biasha's voice was trembling and the restless Ronka was letting out clouds of steam. He looked deep in thought and in love. I heaved a deep sigh and walked forward, kicking snow piles. Biasha froze in place, facing the taiga. He was a hand reach away and I put my numb wrist on his shoulder for some reason. Probably to make sure it wasn't a dream. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate the sound. A pointy beak was directed at me, strewn with feathers that formed an owl face. Something wearing a bird mask was staring at me. The voice sounded exactly like Biasha's, but there was somebody else hiding behind the feathers in the cardboard. I sprinted away as if somebody whipped me. The masked creature only pretended to be Biasha. They wanted to lure me out. I was running like crazy, drawing in snow. The house in front of me was rapidly growing. The yellow light in its windows granted me hope. My mom and sister were there, my salvation. I couldn't hear anything from behind me, as if nobody was chasing me. Maybe it's because the owls can fly? I was already climbing the porch when I noticed another figure. Oh, isn't it lovely? Isn't it adorable? From the soot black shadow of my house, a scruffy wolf cub crawled out and stood in my way. Its movements were jerky, chaotic, as if it was performing some terrifying dance. Or convulsing during a stroke. And even though I could clearly see that the wolf's face was a mask, something in this werewolf's convulsions made me freeze in place. The boy in the wolf costume rubbed his side against the porch post and fell to his knees. He bent his back so hard I expected his spine to crack. And the beast's eyes shone. But he didn't attack. He kept crawling around and running on all fours. I shifted my feet, my mouth agape, trying to keep him in my line of sight. Something was trickling from the mask. Vicious drops fell to the wooden planks. Saliva. Some unknown force pushed me in the back, whispering to me to save myself. The fence was flashing by at the edge of my vision. I was running in another direction this time, towards the toothy edge of the forest that smelled of pine. My heartbeat measured time. The wolf boy growled behind my back as if he forgot his human nature. My right leg got stuck in the shadow-laden cavity. I yanked it out, cursing under my breath, and fell to the ground. Blustering snow prevented me from standing up, from propping myself against anything. But my unbound thirst for life helped me get out of that trap. Darkness was creeping closer like the toxic fumes of burial pyres. I ran again, gasping for air that stung my throat. My hair swayed in the wind. I lost my hat when I fell down, and my ears were now hot from the freezing cold, while most of my body was still sweaty. The field finally ended. After realizing that running into the forest wasn't the smartest decision I could make, I dove into the line of trees. I ran without stopping, my face covered with one of my palms. I didn't want to lose an eye to some random branch. Branches whipped my clothes, prickled my skin like butchers that were herding a pig into the grinder. A knot of roots sprouting from the ground grabbed at my foot. I rammed into the scratchy trunk, slid down to its base, and looked around in panic.
Ух, какой ты быстрый!
My first desire was to dash toward her and hug her. I resisted it and squeezed myself entire into the pine.
Что ты здесь делаешь?
Да вот,
She was holding the hat I lost.
беру находок, подрабатываю. Надевай, а то уши замерзнут, а потом, глядишь, и вовсе отвалятся.
She giggled. I squinted in suspicion and shifted my gaze back and forth between her and the hat, scared that Alisa might be holding a severed head or something even more sinister. But in the end, my hat turned out to be just my hat. Give me that. I took it and pulled it over my forehead.
Тепло.
I didn't reply.
Там во дворе были какие-то дети.
И что, покусали тебя, что ли?
Нет.
А чего же ты убежал?
The answer was obvious, but after rolling the thought on my tongue, I mumbled.
Не знаю.
Эх, обещала не обзывать тебя дурачком. А я обещание исполняю.
She walked up to me and grabbed me by the elbow. I sensed the familiar aroma of mint, oranges, and burnt sparklers. I wanted to lean in to Alice to savor the minute details of her smell.
Сколько можно повторять? Со мной ты в безопасности.
Well, she wasn't there, first of all, and second of all, I don't trust her.
Я твой друг.
Mm-hmm.
И они.
Sure. I quickly turned around toward the place the fox girl was pointing to. Kids in masks appeared at the clearing. At least they looked like kids since they were all pretty short. A wolf boy, an owl girl, and a bear boy. They all huffed and grasped for air, clearly tired from running around.
Я думала, ты в снег провалился. Стала снег копать, нет тебя.
А я не копал. Лень копать было.
I hate his teeth. Okay, I
Если дурак,
why? I mean, birds also have, like, you know, proper fangs and all, and this is human teeth.
а если умный, подожди, пока другие набегаются, накопаются.
So I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
Уж тогда заводи разговор.
Как я рад! Дегенерат!
А?
Не обращай
А?
внимания. Он со странностями.
I stood there stupefied, my mouth agape and my hands dangling helplessly. I had no idea how to react to the words of these late-night guests, but I managed to squeeze out something resembling a smile.
Вы просто меня напугали.
They started looking at each other and somebody even snorted as if I said something funny.
Да, лиса права!
But it's interesting how, like, they have, like, hollow eyes and only her is wearing a mask and it's like we can still see the eyes behind the mask. And I wonder because, like, technically we can guess that this is the girl that first disappeared, then this is Vova, and then this guy is Semyon, probably. So we know that they are victims. We don't know who that girl could be.
Это он.
And look, he has his hand bandaged, which means that he does not have one of his fingers, most probably the one where he wore the signet.
Нет, это наш.
Неужели нашли?
Наш зайчик.
Да-да, похож.
The wolf boy started wagging a part of his costume like it was his tail in excitement.
Ну, конечно, ты первый. Это волчик раньше всех почуял зайчика в тебе и рассказал нам.
Здравствуй.
С нашей совушкой ты знаком не понаслышке. Не такая уж она и страшная, правда?
And that's why she was like so close to Olia, tried to befriend her because like they're around the same age. So I guess like yeah, that makes sense.
Да, наверное.
А этот улыбчивый бугай — медвежутка. Ты лучше с ним поласкавее, а то голову откусит.
Зачем это?
Да, смотрю, ты чувство юмора где-то обронил.
I was still unsure if these peculiar little animals had the best intentions in mind, so I hid my hands behind my back, trying to look away from the gaping holes of their carnival masks. Alisa put her hand to her sides in a theatrical manner and somehow managed to wink with her fox face.
Когда в следующий раз придем, будем звенеть в колокольчики, чтобы ты не так боялся нашего визита.
А у нас разве есть колокольчики?
Чур, я звенеть не буду. У меня лапка болит.
My smile was no longer fake.
О, зубы показал. Это добрый знак. Не ожидала, что сможем тебя рассмешить. Я думала, это под силу только Диснейленду.
Откуда ты знаешь?
Да так, прочитала кое-где.
And that's us, right? That's what makes me feel like this is actually in some wicked way also Paulina. You know, that would be messed up. But and the forest dude is maybe possibly her grandfather. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I don't know. But yeah, they match.
Про меня?
I don't know. I have too many theories and no answers. I hope we will, not next Monday, but the Monday after, we will learn about it.
Про клюв от воробья. Про Диснейленд яхонтовый.
Ты умеешь читать по-человечески?
Зря я, что ли, в школу хожу день ото дня.
And see, she says like she goes to school every day. Which is suspicious. And then she sang in a coquettish voice.
Как детей не замечать, как мечты их развенчать. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе. Крепко-накрепко вломить, с детства слабеньких чморить. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе.
Hey! I let out a cautious laugh. My new acquaintances didn't seem scary anymore. On the contrary, they looked friendly and welcoming. There was something about them that attracted me. Just like the clearing, this moon, and the snowflakes that fell backwards from the ground to the sky, as if someone was rewinding a tape. The masked kids got close, and I felt their touch. They gave me friendly taps, felt my clothes as if checking whether I was real. There was no animalistic malice in their touch, only pure childish curiosity. For some reason, I thought to myself, I can't trust them. I don't think you can. Actually, I don't think you can. Snowflakes just kept on floating upwards.
Никто тебя больше не обидит.
Друг, пусть только попробуют.
The fox gave me a slightly tug and burst out laughing.
Ну что, Тоша, убежишь с воплями или с нами пойдешь?
Куда?
На аттракционы!
At that moment, Taiga's deceptive silence was broken by the sound of a distant flute. Mesmerizing and alluring, it brought about the ring of crystal glass and the whisper of a fresh winter spring. If I had any doubts before, the flute's songs shattered the last of them. I started following my new friends before I could even make my decision. My legs carried me on their own will, and the tunnels made of pine stepped apart, bushes bowed in front of our procession. Everything looked dreamlike. Because even the clearing we ended up on, I only saw in my dream. The flute soared up in the treetops like some fantastical bird. The snowflakes floated up in spiral. The moon painted tree branches with silver. Alisa gasped in amazement. I was also in awe. I tilted my head backwards as far as I could.
Очень красиво.
Wolfie howled in agreement.
Это мелочи. Я покажу гораздо больше, если захочешь.
I wanted to see what the fox girl saw with her eyes hidden in the semi-dark of her cape. Now I didn't feel weird about these masked kids, I felt weird for being the only one without a mask. I felt like I was naked in the January winds.
Скажите, а зачем вам маски?
I was trembling, but I wasn't scared. My trembling wasn't caused by the cold. It originated from the peculiar unctuousness, the anticipation of something amazing. I touched my cold cheek.
Но я без маски.
Обожаю человеческие сказки.
Человеческие ласки?
Человеческие дрязги.
Я же говорила, все жители поселка носят маски, только скрываются за ними отнюдь не люди.
И даже я?
Ты такой рассеянный, Антон.
Однажды мы уже нашли твои очки.
И шапку. И твое настоящее лицо.
I looked at the mask the fox was holding out to me. The bunny mask that looked like a silver ingot under the moonlight. I was curious to see the world through its slits. Well, I have no other choice, am I? Suddenly finding its way through the flute's melody, a thought came to me. The glasses they found were in Semyon's possession. My new acquaintances must have known what happened to him. Or even worse.
А куда подевался Семен? Что с ним стало? И с остальными детьми?
The bear and the owl looked at each other. The wolf boy curled into a ball and the fox lowered the pointed nose on her mask.
Кого держали в клетке?
Тот, кто режет мелко-мелко. Тот, кто носит кожаное лицо, забрал их.
You see, they are terrified. It's interesting, like, but I wonder if like it's the same character, you know, the goat man or whatever, and the owner of the forest and the one who is taking away, because like they were nearby, right? So it's strange, but they're still scared of the guy.
Перекрестился бы.
Хотите сказать, это был человек?
Чем ты только слушал? Разве можно назвать такого, как он, человеком?
Одно слово. Взрослый.
Now as an adult, that's interesting, right?
Взрослых так легко потеряться.
Убийцы, жестокие дрессировщики и равнодушные родители. Лучше об этом вовсе не думать, чтобы не грустить. Не знаю, как вам, а мне печалиться совсем не хочется.
И я сегодня какой-то негрустный. Антон, а ты?
I was lost in thought, staring at the pines, trying to pinpoint the location of the flute. I was sure that the person who played it was standing right behind the piney stockade. Someone tall, going over the holes in the flute with their long fingers.
Так что, сядем тосковать или займемся отдыхом?
Алиса хотела что-то показать.
Давай начнем с самой сладкой части программы.
The fox girl took out a handful of candy from her pocket and handed them to each of the kids. Covers shuffled, the smell of pineapple, cocoa, and melon wafted through the air. Oh, don't put... she put something in my mouth, and that sounds wrong, but what she did is also wrong. The last treat, a chocolate-covered waffle candy. Alisa put right into my mouth. My tongue was engulfed in spiciness. I felt like my body was covered in fur and small sparks were running along it. I chewed off the waffle and the chocolate, gulped them down, enjoying the vivid taste.
Спасибо.
My gratitude was barely audible because my lips were already touching the inside of a mask. I didn't even notice how I put it against my face. The papier-mâché was warm. The mask stuck to my skin, giving it a nice prickle. The kind when you dive into a hot bath after being outside in winter when you lie there and pour from the soapy water.
Мое.
Чего стоим? За нас веселиться никто не будет.
И то верно.
The melody kept swirling in the field like a hurricane. I couldn't wait to release the energy, the heat that this enchanting music was filling me in with. The owl jumped and disappeared into the sky. I heard her laughter from somewhere above, and then she landed back, huffing and sighing.
Ты так можешь. Попробуй.
I followed suit. My feet tore off from the ground. I flew towards the stars like a rocket and screamed from happiness after seeing my friends down below. And also another fun thing is like how color gets brought up in the moment when like he's getting into a fantasy world, as if like the real world is bleak, black and white, you know, grayish, sad. And only as a kid who fully gets out to their fantasy you can see the true color of the world, or rather of the world that could have the color. And that's a fun thing. The wind helped me fly. Felt like I was jumping on a huge trampoline. The stars looked like vivid sparkles that I could reach and lick up. The moon also got closer, and then I plunged. I got scared that I'd break my legs for a moment, but my soles landed softly on the ground and I regained my balance. And now even, like, Alisa's name is colored. In a fit of merry laughter, I realized the most important thing. These four are not a threat. We're real enemies, and I felt that with every single hair on my mask were those who knew nothing about magic. Humans from the village. I also realized how alive my surroundings have become. I heard the dry grass under the snow moan. I saw faces of the trees and the stars. The trees were smirking, and the stars were grimacing in fear. That's right, be scared. I'll jump to you, and I snapped my teeth and let out a jubilant laugh, jumping up along with the fox. We flew higher than the tallest pines and stayed in the air. I swirled. Alisa followed my rhythm. I knew that she was smiling, so I smiled too. And the flute just kept on playing, carrying us higher and higher. But her eyes are golden in there, that's interesting. And we know that Polinas are blue.
Ты чё, опять в облаках витаешь?
Not if you're around, I thought, trying to unglue my chin from the desk. What's happening? Nothing's happening, Aile. We're all fine. Definitely nobody was taking any drugs. Promise. My muscles felt slightly sore, but that feeling was pleasant. The whole class was wandering about, for some reason, whispering and passing notes to each other. Their faces looked like discolored masks to me, bleak and boring. I yawned, remembering the time I was soaring high above the forest with Alisa by my side, laughing and squeezing my hand. Perhaps no, probably it was all just a dream. Is the bully missing? Yeah. He went missing. Because I didn't walk back from the forest, just woke up in my bed on a normal morning with tea and medicine. Now it's Semyon as the bully. Still was hardly worried about trying to find a rational explanation for my night dance. What did you miss? Oh, you missed the entire chapter, Aile. We're about to wrap it up, my friend. Yeah, you will need to watch the VODs. I don't know if you've seen the previous one, but yeah, at the end of the previous one, Simeon basically, like, it's revealed that he goes missing. And this chapter is mostly about why actually, like, us being at school, mostly. So, that feeling of fight was much more important. The knowledge of how it feels to be hanging in the air above the treetops of majestic pines and baring my teeth at the moon.
Ну чего? Чё? Пока ты носом клевал, Катька пропала.
And now we have another missing character. My sleepiness was gone in an instant. I frowned in suspicion.
Пропала. Быть не может.
And now Katya Smirnovna is also missing. 12 years old. Grade 6B. Fuck, I didn't manage to read it all. Stomp your hooves in wait. I waited for 2 years! Okay, well, we're gonna save the game. Now. Okay. And for today, that's going to be it. So Brittany is missing. Well, that was it for chapter 3. We have chapter 4 only available for now. And so we're going to finish that next week. And then we'll have to wait for chapter 5 to come out, which, holy shit, I will be so hyped But, you know, we'll have to wait for it a little bit later because it comes out on 5th, and on 5th I'm not at my house, so I'm going to visit my family, so that's why we're only doing it on Monday, which is the earliest possible moment for me to do that. Trust me, I'm excited. I'm very, very much excited, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Once again, there won't be shorts unless miraculously they will somehow work. So for now, from none of the streams that I've had recently, I could make any shorts from the clips that I've made. Unfortunately, that's why they're gone. Maybe possibly there is going to be video next week. It depends on how much work I will do tomorrow. We'll see about that, because like technically I had plans for the weekend, but the plans have suddenly changed, so I don't know anymore. I still have to make sure to clear out the situation, whether or not they're going to happen or not. But yeah, most definitely we have a stream on Monday, so that you do not have to worry about. We're going to play Chapter 4. If something will happen in between, maybe a stream or something, well, it will be mostly spontaneous, so that's about it. Thank you so much, guys, and see you next time. Bye-bye!